This opening is nuts. Today is day 56 on my journey to 2000, and this opening is just so crazy. Look at this. I play with 89.5% accuracy. This is the Vienna Gambit. And this is how it works. You just bring the knight to c3. Some of you guys who have been watching know that this is an opening that I've started experimenting more with. It's just crazy. So the big idea here is that you gambit this pawn for taking space very early on. And even though it leaves you with a weak king, you can actually counter that in a lot of ways. And you have some crazy games coming out of these first few moves. And I'm still learning a lot about it. It's super interesting. Anyway, he takes here, which is not good because I have this move pushing the knight back. So when I first played this a few days ago, I was scared of pushing this pawn because I thought, oh, what if I take here and he comes and checks me? In this scenario, you just move your king to the side. How crazy is that? Look how scary that is, not castling your king in the opening with the queen, like your f-pawn gone. It's like breaking all the principles of chess. But you're just in a better position. And you would be up a piece and you would have to convert it and play smart. But yeah. So here, black's best move is just to move the knight back. Look, everything's undeveloped. Everything's undeveloped. And yeah, you gambited a pawn, but right away you could take control of the center. You could stop the queen from coming in and maybe later take control of the center. And a lot of lines you castle with the rook and queen over here attacking. So anyway, that's not what happens in this game. I attack and he brings his queen in, which I never really saw. So this is out of opening theory. You got to think for yourself, at least for me, right? I haven't played the Vienna enough, but I've played enough games like this where the pawn is here and you can't take. In the Scotch opening, it's similar. So I know moving the queen out is probably fine. So I do that. Then he moves his knight back because the knight literally can't go anywhere and he's going to lose it. And I don't make the best moves. But because this is so crazy, it's just awesome. Here right away, again, I could take advantage of this. Because of this, I can, again, move the king to the side. How crazy of an idea is that? Look how scary that is. It looks like the bishops can get into the position or something. But it can't. Because if it comes in... Oh, well, first of all, I'm sorry. I have a discovered check. But regardless, if it were able to come in, I have this knight move. So... super interesting stuff. I bring the knight out instead. I bring my other knight out. Look at this. I'm forcing his queen back to where it was. How crazy is that? And the engine says d8 is the best move. Pushing the queen backwards. After that, I finally push this pawn forward. And the reasoning for this is to take this pawn back, to have lines towards the king, and also just to develop another piece, right? You're also... protecting the center pawn, you're taking control of the center, and this knight protects this pawn. So it just does so many things that is really good. After that, the pawn pushed, which I recognized as a mistake, because I can take with the discovered check, and then I could take, and that just looks nice. Instead of, apparently my best option was to take with the knight, because if something like this, I win the queen, because of the discovered attack on the king. I didn't see that. I'm not aggressive enough. Something I learned from watching a video and just no, actually from a book I've been reading, a chess book I'm reading, is that I have to be more aggressive and I have to counter attack a lot of times. I'm not good at that stuff. I play too passively sometimes. And this is kind of an example. Taking this pawn works. He would be forced to move there. Then you could take the rook and it's super cool. Anyway, I take with my pawn instead. He brings his bishop out. I come in with the check, moves his king, and here I bring my queen in to pin the knight. Then I'm going to bring my knight in. Apparently, I could bring the knight in right away, because if the knight takes here, I can just take, and look at this. The pawn is protecting the pawn. His king is super open. Like, let's say he comes here to try to stop that. I can just take this, which I was going to do later anyway, and just slowly, or just, improve my position. Anyway, I don't do that. I pin with my queen. I finally take the rook. By the way, this I did not see. I would not see. Okay? That is just, I don't know. I didn't think of this. Look at that. Jesus Christ. This, you just lose the rook, so you're just forced to keep running away. Oh my god. Crazy, crazy stuff. And then you could bring bishop to c4 to pin the pawn. Anyway, instead of that, I take the rook and I fork this. Look how just so many tactics arise because of the positional play. Just the opening, right? When forcing the knight back, it allows in this opening to push forth so quickly. That's why gambiting pieces sometimes works. Although some gambits are refuted, the Vienna gambit, from my understanding, still works at high levels. High levels, like at least to 2000. I don't know above that. Anyway, I take here because why wouldn't I take a free piece? Again, best move to develop a piece. Kind of crazy stuff. He takes back. I bring my queen back. He brings this. And then I have some cool moves. I bring the bishop, so my king is safe. And soon I'm going to castle my king, and he has no way of winning. Probably castle this way, right? He brings the knight attacking the bishop. Now there's 2 attacks on the bishop. But I take the bishop. After takes and castles, he comes attacking my queen. And it looks like a good move because the knight is protecting, but it's not, because after the castle, I'm pinning the knight. And here I just sack my rook. I sack the rook, like Gotham Chess would say, because it doesn't matter. I have this check winning the bishop. I saw that, and what a beautiful, beautiful game. Vienna game, super, super fun. All right? Yeah, so that was the first game. Second game that I played today, and this game was... I don't know if other people have this problem. When I play as black against the Scotch, for example, I don't recognize the Scotch because I play the Scotch as white. When I play the Caro-Kann as white or against black playing the Caro-Kann, I don't recognize... It doesn't look the same because it's from the other side of the board. I don't know if other people feel this way, but I definitely feel that way. So on online games, this is a cool tip. Flipping the board might actually help to try to visualize and get used to it. Maybe it doesn't help. To me, it does. I forgot to do that here. I didn't recognize this as the Scotch. This is like my favorite opening as white. Actually, Vienna might be my favorite now. But the idea here generally is to bring the bishop here and continue creating tension. And I know all the book moves from here in this scenario. It's the bishops come out, you know. You see, it's weird for me to see it the other way. This way, it makes much more sense. I could put all the pieces out. I'm sorry. The queen comes out. The pawn defends. The bishop. The knight comes out defending the knight. The bishop comes out getting developed. You castle, and the game continues. Seeing it from the other side, didn't recognize it. So instead, I take his knight. And this version of the Scotch, not very familiar with. My best move here to stop all of this progression, I recognize that the knight coming out here doesn't look good because the pawn could basically kick it out. My best move was to bring the queen here. And if the pawn comes in trying to attack me, then I could go b6, having eyes on this, and again, not threatening, but offering a trade to open up my rook, I'm guessing. Okay. Instead of that, I play it like this, hoping that he pushes the pawn trying to take space because I'm not playing the best moves and I could take the queen. And this is kind of a dumb hope. I make this move kind of thinking, okay, it's not the best move, but hey, listen, it pins his pawn, allowing me maybe to develop my knight, maybe a little more passively, maybe I'll bring the bishop out because I need to do something a little different. And he brings his bishop out, so I bring my knight out, seeing, okay, this move is not possible now because I win his queen, and he makes the move. This is hope to all players below my level, okay? You could be a 1480 rated player and blunder like this. And no, you know, nothing against this person. I've blundered like this and worse probably, right? But I was like, wow, he actually blundered that. And I was expecting a resign. You know, I'm like, okay, he's going to resign. No, he keeps going. So I do this cool stuff. I take back that pawn. I'm like playing with fire a little, but I'm like, wait, this definitely works. He takes back. I push the pawn to develop my bishop. Very smart, right? Don't go for the pawn right away. Don't go for the pawn right away. You have to develop your pieces. You have to get your king to safety. You have to be careful. So that's why I push the pawn forward. I can also block here. And I castle. I bring some pieces. I threaten mate. He sees it. I bring my bishop into the position. I'm trying to come here and here. I recognize that he's going to bring his bishop here. I'm fine with trading. I'm up a freaking queen. Right? Up a queen. Can't mess up here. Well, you can if you're not careful. You know, gotta be careful. So Here I had to be careful because if I don't move the rook, if I do some random move, I'm not losing, but doesn't look very nice, right? He could take with check and opening up the position against my king. I don't like that. So I protect, I do all this stuff. I'm pushing my pawn, I shouldn't have brought the rook here. And this is pretty crazy. I didn't recognize a simple idea. Take. He can't take because it's pinned. Pinned, man. Pinned pieces. I've been doing a lot more puzzles, guys. Chess.com puzzles, really nice. Anyway, I should recommend it. He doubles his rooks, and I decide, you know what? I'm winning. I can afford to do this. His bishop's a little annoying, but I can afford to do this. I pick up a pawn. I finally go for this pawn, and I'm like, oh my god, did I just lose this game? I should have the evaluation off to make it more intense. This looks like, oh my god, how do I stop this pawn from promoting? Get behind the pawn, right? That's the goal. I actually calculate this over here, which is a bit late, I will admit. I calculate that after takes, this protects the pawn, and I could sack it. I could sack it because this is going to promote, the king's too far away. And he resigned. Right? It would look like this. And that's it. A little bit lucky. I could have screwed up. But actually probably not, because even against the bishop, I have these 3 pawns. I don't know. Maybe I could have screwed up and lost that game. But those were the games. I'm now rated 1550. Look at this. But it's okay. Rating's not everything, as some of you guys have told me. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys next time. Say memo in the comments if you watch this far to let me know. I really appreciate you guys. Also, thanks for supporting the channel. There's more support recently, and I really do appreciate it.